Good morning, everybody. I'm Brian Glassberg. I am the supervisor of school counseling, and I'm the supervisor for kindergarten through 12th grade on the north side of Edison. I am responsible for the high school, the 2 middle schools, and the 5 elementary schools that lead in to those. You previously received an 8th grade parent video that had a video from our principal, video from our high school supervisors, department supervisors in the content areas, as well as from myself. Hope that you had a chance to take a look at that and found the information to be useful. That said, we usually have a big event in the auditorium, so I also wanted to give a little bit more of a chance to answer some questions that came up after you watched those videos. And I have some of those questions here. And then after we're done with that, you'll have an opportunity to ask other questions if you would like. Okay, so here we go. The first question I received is, when is the PSAT scheduled for students joining 9th grade? Okay, 9th grade, we do not offer the PSAT. So in some years, we've offered it in 8th grade. And for the past very many years, we've offered it in both 10th grade and 11th grade, but not in 9th. The real PSAT, the one that counts for scholarship offers and for national merits, that happens in 11th grade. So that's the most important one, is the one in 11th grade. But we have recently been offering it to 10th grade. In fact, our 10th grade one is coming up in just a couple of weeks. The purpose of the 10th grade one is to get practice for the 11th grade practice SAT. And the purpose of both of those is really to prepare you for the regular SAT test and other standardized tests. So we do not offer it in 9th grade, but there is no need for it in 9th grade. There's no value to it. It doesn't matter for scholarships. It certainly does not matter for college. Nobody would be looking at a 9th grade score or a 10th grade score for that matter. I had a question about soccer, joining soccer. So all of our sports will have a summer date where you have to have medical forms in the summer, and then there will be tryouts at that time. The person in charge of that is Miss Kathy McKean. She is the athletic director, and she will have the exact dates. I don't have those here though at the time. Okay, let's see. The next question is, can my son select any computer-related elective subject when he joins 9th grade at JP Stevens? The answer is yes. So we offer a course called computer programming, computer science, that is for 9th graders, and it covers C++ primarily. And then students go from there into a computer programming course that's more advanced. There's a prerequisite as you move through. A prerequisite means that you're required to take one course before another. So 9th graders usually start with the computer science course that covers C++, and then we progress. And we do offer 2 AP computer science courses. Those are not until 11th or 12th grade. We offer at this point AP computer science, and we offer AP principles, computer science principles, 2 different courses. So yes, we offer computers every year that your child's in high school if they would like to take that. Is badminton one of the competitive sports? I really enjoyed that. So I like seeing the focus coming into high school, not just on the academics, but on the athletics, on physical activity, which if you watch my video, you know that we think that that's very important. The health and well-being of our children is paramount. So we do not have a badminton team that would compete against other schools. I don't know if that exists in other schools, but it does not in ours. I can tell you though that it is a part of the physical education class. So badminton is one of the rotating activities that they do in physical education. Another question is, what is the criteria to enter into geometry honors in 9th grade? Okay, so the criteria has not yet been posted. So that works its way through our upper administration with some involvement from the school board. So I could tell you that placement for ninth grade is done by the eighth grade content supervisors. So you'd actually have to go back to your middle school site and look up who the math supervisor is in that case, or whichever department it is that you're looking at. And you would reach out to that content supervisor, the eighth grade content supervisor. So your child would have to be in algebra now, certainly, to get into geometry in ninth grade. And then the level is going to be based upon a variety of factors, including their grade, teacher recommendation usually. So various factors, but I can't identify for you what all of those requirements are yet because they have not been posted, but they will be when they're ready. Level changes, by the way, levels could be changed all the way through the end of this school year, at least through June 1st. So you don't need to worry about that. The first thing coming up that you'll have to think about is elective choices. And you saw an elective video, and I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. Okay, next question. Is there any way that the screen time, something about screen time and homework for high school students? So I'm not sure exactly what the question was getting at, but homework could take a couple of hours in high school. It kind of depends upon the individual student, the levels that they're in, and how confident they feel in the subject matter. While we're remote, there is, a lot of screen time, obviously. So it's important that you sort of manage that the best that you can at home. I know when the school day ends, a lot of times students have to go right back on their computer for homework. And then they also want to go back on their phones, which is just another screen, of course. So it's important to try to find that balance and have them off screen as much as you can. But they're going to have to juggle their classes. When I open things up to questions, I'm not sure if I answered that one well because I didn't fully understand it. So when I open this up to questions more, feel free to restate that question. Can you elaborate more about the early college partnership with Middlesex College? So you may have just heard this announced at the school board meeting. This is something that we've been working on this year, developing a partnership with Middlesex College. The idea is that students can earn credits as they move through high school, dual credits, which means that they earn credits in our high school, but they also earn credits at Middlesex College. And potentially by the time they graduate, if they've picked courses from a certain sequence, then they are able to even earn an associate's degree. That's a two-year degree. That will help them minimize the cost of a four-year college if they transfer onto a four-year college, or some students may prefer a two-year college option. So we offer right now a variety of courses that offer dual credit. So for example, 11th graders who are in psychology class, they can pay money, a couple of $100s to Middlesex College, and they would get credit for both Middlesex College credits and also for high school credits. So we have a variety of classes that count for that already, but we're looking to expand it quite a lot. And we're also looking to set up a degree program so that they could work towards a specific degree at the college level. So I think it's a great program. There won't be many, if any, ninth grade courses that are eligible. So there will be an event where you hear more about this. It's going to be presented to you, not by me, by the people who are working on it. And they'll have a lot more detail. But it's something that you can prepare yourself for. And then really you're going to hit the ground running in 10th, 11th, and 12th to be able to earn a lot of credits if you would like to at Middlesex College. When do students choose their electives? So the elective schedule right now, it's set for March 10th through March 17th. That's when you would be able to go into the portal and select your electives. The date is in flux a little bit. I believe that's where we're going to be. You will receive an email from me with details in advance of that date, with links to our elective choices, with instructions on how to select the electives in the portal, although it's the same process as what you did in 8th grade pretty much, if you have done that before. So right now our dates are scheduled for March 10th through the 17th. And again, that's just for electives. So this has nothing to do with you picking which math class or English class, science or social studies that you're going to be in. It's electives, and then you'll talk to your school counselor at the middle school about a world language if you would like to change your child's world language. Okay, next question. Criteria for placement in high school classes. Again, that's still being worked on, but it involves getting good grades always, and usually involves a teacher recommendation as well. So what I like to say now is focus on your grades in 8th grade. That's what I would say to your children. If they earn good grades, they're going to be in a good position to maintain their level or move up a level into 9th grade. So that's where they should be putting their energies right now. Can you explain which math classes students will take in 9th grade? Well, yes, sure. I'll give that a shot. This is the trickiest area because there are a lot of different places students may go in 9th grade based upon where they were in 8th grade. Excuse me. So in English, for example, everybody is going into 9th grade English. They could be at different levels, but they're all going into 9th grade English. Everybody's going into the same history class and the same science class, just at different levels. Math is a little different. So if your child didn't take algebra, they're going to go into algebra in 9th grade. If your child took algebra, then they're going to be going into geometry in 9th grade. Geometry could be at the honors level, the accelerated level, or our academic level. Possibly, though, your child is in geometry in 8th grade. If your child is currently taking geometry, then they go into algebra 2 in 9th grade. So it really varies based upon where your child is right now. Your child will either go into algebra, geometry, or algebra 2 in 9th grade based upon where they are right now in 8th grade and their performance in that class. So the person who said that that's a bit confusing, it is a bit confusing because there are so many different places your child may go based upon where they were previously. All right. Do you have any high school student testimonials? Anything from students basically saying which courses that they found most valuable and what are the most popular electives to take? We do not have those. So this is what I would say. If your child comes into 9th grade and they have one elective, most students have room for one elective. If students are in a double period English class because they need a little bit more help in English, then they won't have an elective. But most students have an elective in 9th grade. This is what I would say. Your child gets one choice out of their 7 classes. Let your child choose something that they're interested in and that they genuinely enjoy, because that's going to help motivate them for the rest of the day to want to be present in school. It's going to make them happier, and happiness leads to success in your classes. So I would encourage that. There's not like a magic elective that you should take that's going to help you get into a better college. Colleges want to see, who you are, what your passions are, what your interests are, and it's okay to have hobbies as well. I took 4 years of woodshop in high school, and by the time I was in my senior year, I was making a kitchen table that my parents used for many, many years in their home because it worked out so well. That used my math skills and my spatial skills and my engineering skills. All of those were demonstrated through the projects I was able to do. So what I would say is whatever it is that your child chooses, it should be something that they really want to do. And then they could always switch in their sophomore year to something else. The other thing I want to point out about electives, and you would have seen it in my video, is that there are requirements in high school. There's requirements for a visual and performing art in high school. This is a New Jersey requirement. That's courses like art or music, for example. And then there is a 21st century career and life skill requirement in New Jersey. And that's for a course like business or computers or technology. So no matter what your child does, they're going to have to fulfill both of those requirements in high school. I say let them choose what they would like. Same thing with the language. Otherwise, if you're looking for more testimonials, they're just going to have to talk to friends, or maybe you have older children that they could talk to. Can a ninth grade student take 2 electives? That's my next question. The answer is no. So the only people who could take really 2 electives are seniors and maybe juniors if they drop their world language in 11th grade. So your child's going to have 7 classes in ninth grade. That's English, math, science, social studies, world language, physical education, and then for most students, their elective. That's all that they could fit into their schedule is 7 classes, including that 1 elective. So not in ninth grade. Some students do things during their study hall, but that's an informal arrangement with their teachers. It is not for credit or anything like that. Is study hall required? Yes, it's required in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. Every student has a study hall. Some students can avoid a study hall in their senior year if they want to. They could have a full 8-period schedule. So study hall cannot be substituted for an additional elective, at least not in 9th grade. For honors and accelerated English, what does the expectation of independent work mean? Are students expected to learn on their own?
Pardon the interruption. Genesis is now back up. Have a great day.
Are students expected to learn on their own by watching videos and reading? So not exactly. So in the regular academic level of English, the students might spend more time reading together during class, a little bit more time writing together during class. More of that reading and writing is going to occur outside of class in the accelerated and the honors level. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be taught. They're absolutely going to be taught the information, but they're going to be expected to go home and read more from whatever book it is that they're reading and doing more independent writing. So in all of our classes, there's some element of lecture, but that should be relatively minimal, and there should be more interaction, hopefully. Hopefully that will be your experience, but the students are going to be taught, certainly, and they're not going to be expected to do it all on their own. Okay, so those are the questions that I received. What I'd like to do now is to open it up, and I believe that you all are able to unmute yourself. So if you'd like to unmute yourself, I'd be happy to take some other questions. I'm not seeing any at the moment. Looking for some brave souls. Okay. Just going to pause for 1 second here. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So the only thing that I'll add is, again, that placement is made by the 8th grade middle school supervisors in the different content areas. And then once your child comes to high school, things take over with the supervisors who you saw in the videos that I pushed out. So you're going to need to direct questions to them about the actual placement. When the portal does open for electives, make sure that you, I see a hand up, Nishant, I'll be right with you. So when the portal does open for electives, make sure that you do the electives there. Make a couple of choices. You have to pick at least 3 choices. We actually recommend 5 because your child might not get their first choice. Usually they get their first or second choice, but we do start scheduling first with our seniors, and then we work our way down to our freshmen. Okay. You can, Nishant, you are unmuted if you have a question.
Yes, hi, thanks. So the courses that can be taken up at Middlesex County College for ninth grade, you said there weren't that many, but where can we find more information about it?
So we're actually actively, Ms. Polakowski, our Assistant Superintendent of Schools, as well as some of the supervisors are actively working with Middlesex College to develop that list right now. So we don't have the list of the actual classes. So there will be though pretty soon. And that will be part of a whole presentation that they will make and they'll record as well to be able to send out. So you'll have that information prior to when you want to select your electives. Okay, so prior to March 10th, you would know what those courses are if there's any for ninth grade students. Okay, so right now the courses that we have are not for ninth graders, the ones that we currently have set up, but we're working on it. Okay. Good question. Other questions? Okay. All right. Well, I hope that you found this useful. This is what I would encourage you to do. If you did not watch all of the videos, please go back and watch them. Then speak to your middle school child's school counselor, guidance counselor, and they can answer some of your questions if it is about electives or about world language and a little bit about the academics. If you end up having a situation where you need to pursue a change of level in your classes and you're not sure what to do there, then make sure that you go to your middle school supervisor on that, the middle school content supervisor. I do see a hand. I'll take that from Sherwin. Sherwin, you are unmuted.
Hi, I would like to know after the elective selection, how long would it take for us to know what are our confirmed electives?
How long it'll take until you know what your actual elective choice is going to be?
That's right.
Right. Okay. Good question. So here's what happens. This is the process in a nutshell. So your child selects the electives from March 10th through the 17th with you in Parent Portal. Then we go through all of those. The counselors meet with a lot of the students to review their choices to make sure they understand the order of their choices. Then we look at the total numbers in each of those areas. So we need to know how many students are requesting cooking class, how many students are requesting computer class. That helps us figure out how many sections of each of those classes that we need and how many we have teachers for. So we need to make sure we have enough staffing for everything. That's all happening by around spring break in April and then into May. The supervisors are building a rough draft with myself of the schedule for the following year of where all the classes are going to be. Do we have enough space for everything that we want? You've heard about overcrowding, of course. So we need to make sure everything that everybody wants, we have teachers for, and it fits. That's happening in May. So in June, you'll have a good idea of your classes because you'll be able to see in the portal what elective choice is in there for your child, whether we had to at that point go to their second choice or to their third choice. But it's still not definite. All summer long, things are still happening. So for example, the school board might be approving more teachers or not approving teachers because they're going through a budget process. We are trying to maximize our space in the building. We are balancing out classes because we can't have one class of 30 and another class of 10, for example. That doesn't work well when you're building a schedule. So the short answer to your question, I know it took me a while to get there. The short answer of the question is you're not going to know this really until the middle part of August. That's when schedules are released. And then you know 99% what your child's schedules are. Until then, we're constantly trying to get your child's top choice elective. And that's going to take some twists and turns as we get there. So when we first run the schedule, maybe your child did not get their first choice. Well, we still know it's your child's first choice. So we're going to continually work, I am, over the summer, trying to rearrange schedules in a way that gets more students their top choice. So it's going to take a long time until you really know. But what we're always trying to do is to get your child the elective that they want. If not their top choice, then their second choice. And we work very hard, the administrators and myself, we work very hard in order to do that. Okay. Thank you. Malathi can unmute.
Yeah, this is regarding the sports. My daughter wanted to try out two sports in a season. Can she do that? Try out on two sports if she gets selected? How is it?
Well, she can only play one sport per season. Okay, so she's really going to have to pick the one that she would enjoy more. It's the time, everything would conflict to do two sports in one season. Yeah, I remember having the same thing in high school. To be honest with you, I played baseball, and I liked to play baseball, and I liked to play tennis. But they both for boys ran in the spring, so that was a choice I had to make, and of course disappointing some coaches. But that's just one of the many situations that you and your children will have in terms of tough choices to make. But they run practices same time, same season. Games, everything's going to overlap there, so they can't do two at once. Good question. Okay. All right. Any other questions that you have? I'd be happy to answer them. Again, you can reach out to your child's middle school counselor and the content area supervisors. I would wait before you reach out to the content supervisors. That's math, English, science, social studies. I'd wait on that because they are actively working with the assistant superintendent and other committees in order to finalize the requirements. So you should really wait until you see what that placement is before you move forward with questions there. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. I wish you well. I wish that we were all able to be in the auditorium, 700 of us together as we've done in the past. You missed some really good jokes I used to tell to kind of lighten the mood of the tension there. But hopefully we'll be able to come back together soon. And really, we look forward to welcoming you to the high school. We have 9 school counselors here at the high school waiting to meet your students. So that will be assigned over the summer, and you'll know who your child's counselor is in September or late August. So we really look forward to meeting them, hopefully in person. And we hope that you're all staying well and safe at home. Thank you very much, and have a good day.